Okay guys, so welcome back again to the channel. So if you are already a subscriber or a follower of mine, obviously you know that I stream and I make videos about mobile games on my YouTube channel. And obviously you can stream and do videos for mobile games directly from a phone. Yeah, I do them from my PC, and since I have gotten many questions on how I do that, although I have said this many times on my videos and on my streams, because I use an emulator for PC. Finally I decided to make a specific video on that so you guys can know how you can play your mobile games on your PC. And as I already mentioned, the way you do that is through an emulator, which basically is an application for PC that you install on your personal PC, and from there you can use that as a virtual phone, so you can open your account there, install your games and play all your mobile games that you want to play on your PC. Some of the most used emulators out there are BlueStacks, as you see in here, and Memo, which is the emulator that I currently use. And the main reason why I use Memo is because with this emulator I can set the controls a little bit more easier. With BlueStacks you have a little bit more finer tuning with the controls, at least for the keyboard and for the controller, but at least with Memo it's a little bit easier, at least as far as I can tell. I can also play in 4K with Memo, where with BlueStacks I can go up a maximum of 2K resolution. So since my PC can handle that, why not play in 4K and not in 2K? So that's the main reason why I use MemoPlay. It's also fairly stable, at least for the games that I use, because also it depends on the games. So yeah, this is my emulator of choice, but obviously there are many other emulators besides Memo and BlueStacks. There are dozens of others. You can search online and you can find them and you can try them on your PC and see which one you like best and which one works best for you. So the choice of the emulator is totally personal, but obviously I need to tell you mine. Okay then, so before we go any further, so definitely this video is for all the people that don't know already how to play mobile games on the PC. So yeah, if you are one of these guys, you can stay tuned. If you already know, then thanks for being here. Just leave a like and share the video. That would be cool. Maybe someone else will profit from this guide. Okay, now first thing to know before going ahead and downloading an emulator on your PC, you need to have CPU virtualization on. And if you are not sure how to find that, you can go to the task manager, then you go to the performance tab in here, click on your CPU, and somewhere around this area you will see virtualization enabled. If for some reason the virtualization is disabled in here, then you need to enable virtualization before being able to play with an emulator on your PC. If you have an AMD CPU, you also have a tool that is called Microsoft Hardware Assisted Virtualization Detection Tool, which lets you detect if your virtualization is on or off. Or if you have an Intel CPU, then also Intel has its own utility that you can use to see if virtualization is on or off. After you have made sure that the virtualization is on, you can see it enabled in here, then you can go ahead with the next steps. But if for some reason your virtualization is disabled, because usually it will be enabled by default, but if for some reason, I don't know what could it be, maybe an older system, then you need to enable it. Then and the most secure way and most certain way to enable that is through the BIOS. So you need to search that on Google, for example, how to enable virtualization on your motherboard. You need to find the name of your motherboard, and you will find dozens of articles there how you can enable virtualization. If the virtualization is enabled in the BIOS but is disabled in the Windows here, then you need to find a way how to enable virtualization on Windows. So definitely you can search that on Google too. You will find dozens and dozens of articles, and it's very easy to do. After you are sure that you have done that, obviously you go ahead and download your emulator of choice, Memo, BlueStacks, or whatever other emulator you want to use. After you download it, obviously you install it, and I'm guessing you know how to do that. And after you install it, you will go through very small steps of setting up your device like you would do in a new phone that you buy for the first time. But obviously the steps are not going to be as many as you have on a phone, but you will only add your Google Play account, and obviously password and so on, so you can open your account in this emulator, or basically let's call it a virtual phone, because this emulator on a PC is like having a virtual phone. So you will add your account and so on, so you will be able to play here like you would do on your normal phone that you might have. So basically that's it. After you have done the first configuration, there is this is the look that you will have on your emulator. This is Memo, the version that I use right now. Obviously it's more simple than a normal phone, and to be able to play the games you need to have Play Games installed and obviously Play Store installed in the emulator. They usually are already installed because obviously that's how you play games on a phone, so they should be there. But if for some weird reason they are not in here, then you can download them as an APK or package, and you can install them here. Mainly you can do Play Store first, and then after you do Play Store, then definitely you can do all the other application as you would normally do on a normal phone. So as you see, this is Google Play like you have it on your phone. Then you just search the game that you want to play, you click it, you install it, and you are ready to go. Okay, I have an update for Real Racing 3. Okay, I will do it later. So technically that's how you do. Then you can jump into the game and immediately play the game. With BlueStacks is the same thing, only the layout and the visual changes, but you need only to have Play Games and Play Stores, then install the games, and you can play directly all your mobile games into these emulators. Now the good thing is that as I already mentioned, you can play in 4K in some games. Obviously if they support it, you can also play up to 120 FPS like Real Racing 3, for example. It supports 120 FPS, and you can play with a high frame rate on your PC, obviously if your PC can handle it, and so on and so on. But obviously you need to know that there are also negative sides of playing with emulator. As I told you, if you have an older system with no virtualization, or if for some reason you can't enable virtualization, you will not be able to play with an emulator. This is a downside if you have an older system. But if you have newer system from today, even entry-level CPUs and GPUs are going to be able to play to use these emulator, because these are let's say pretty heavy on your PC. Another downside is that obviously not all the games are going to be available. Not all the games are going to be optimized to set up the controls or the graphics. I can mention here, for example, Need for Speed No Limits. Unfortunately, as you see, I don't have it here because the graphics are really bad for an emulator. I cannot set the controls right. Maybe it's the fault of Memo, I don't know, or maybe just the game is not optimized to be played on an emulator. So I don't have it at all because I want to play that game, but I just can't because it's still not optimized to be played good on an emulator. But maybe with time that will change, because obviously they do updates from time to time. Obviously for the emulators they do updates for the games, so maybe the developers of different games might add support for emulators, because obviously they want more and more users to be able to play with their games. So that might change in the future, but as of now obviously you need to know that not all the games are going to be optimized for or an emulator. But obviously that is not going to stop you from trying, right? You can try a game that you want with Memo. If it doesn't work with Memo and you cannot find a solution, then you can jump to BlueStacks. If you doesn't work on BlueStacks, you can jump onto another emulator and so on. So maybe you can find a way to play, let's say on a decent way in your preferred game that you want to play with a mobile game on a PC. And obviously, if you want to do streams, if you want to record videos, you can do that like normal games that you might have on your PC. That's the same thing. The only difference is that you are opening the mobile games on these emulators. So yeah, now I'm gonna go ahead and play a little bit with my preferred game, because if you are a follower, or if you are not, you know that, or you don't know that I try to daily stream Real Racing 3. So if you want to check the quality of the videos and so on, or what I stream, you can do that on my channel. And yeah, I think I covered all the things I wanted to say. Yeah, I think that's it. That's pretty easy to do, so go ahead and give it a try if you want to play your mobile games on your PC. And as always, hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, don't forget that you can leave them on the comment section, so I will try to help you out with this. But it's pretty straightforward, it's not that hard to do. And yeah, that was it for today. Thank you very much for being here, guys. Thank you very much for your support. For all the new people, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Also, turn on notifications so I never miss one of my new videos. And as always, I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye bye.